I don't think a reasonable person would find any of this to be threatening, harassing, or objectionable. I think these two people, once again, need a hobby, not guilty. Goodbye.
One is, I just know it's 2 blocks straight down the street from my house. Where my house is.
It's not doing me much good. You said that there's a 4-way stop there? Or a light?
There's a stop sign here, a stop sign there, you can see.
There's a church there. I'm looking at the church.
Okay.
So when you said the church is near there, we see the church in the photograph.
Here is a church.
Okay. So, yeah, 2 blocks. Let's look at this on the map. 2 blocks. You mean 2 streets. You're clear up here. You're a half mile from your house. That's 410 High.
Mr. Mays.
Sorry.
Calm down. I'm worried about your blood pressure. Just calm down.
High Street is on that map pulled up, right?
Yes.
And you are way down here by the church, correct?
It's not half a mile. It's very clear, easy. You can walk there.
Where's your driveway? You said you could see your driveway in this
My driveway in this photograph is directly behind me on the opposite end of it. I'm standing at the beginning of Horizon Park. The other side of Horizon Park, my house is right there. You can walk across that park in less than 2.5 minutes.
So, you said that the reason why you took this, and by the way, you by yourself, right?
I was by myself when I took that photo, yeah.
Okay. So, you said the reason why you were alerted to the fact that he was in that area was because you're good friends with his neighbors.
Right.
And they called you up. He said, hey, be on the lookout, right?
No. They sent me a text.
Well, they sent you to.
So Mark is.
So you literally have people around Mr. Lavvy's house reporting when he leaves.
Stop. He was trying to finish the answer to the question. If we could just let him finish the answer to the question.
That's fair. Just slow it down a little bit. He said it was a text.
Thank you.
It was a text message, and we had told them that we were very, very concerned about his behavior. Denise was afraid, and they're friends of ours. So when they knew that there was this escalation, they saw him leave. Just warned us, hey, just left the house again.
This is on May 13th, correct?
14. These pictures were taken on the 14th. This was after the incident in the gym parking lot with my wife, where she had already went to the police that night. She went to the police on this night after his gym membership was revoked. He went back up to the gym again after that same night. Then he went back home and came back out and put himself right by my house.
Judge, can you take judicial notice of the distance from 410 High Street to this intersection by the Methodist Church? Or should I try to get something to establish it?
I know it's not a long way. It's more than it's more than I can toss a rock. How's that?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
GPS is from my house to the church. So exactly how far it is.
I'm not giving you people time for that.
I would say it's a quarter mile. Max. Not a half.
He didn't say anything?
Did not. His windows were up. Mouth. It's, I don't know what it is.
And this was reported to Belleville.
Correct. Happened in the
Belleville
city.
Police.
Yes, happened in the city, so we had to go to the city.
All right, I got nothing for, thank you.
Any redirect? You can step down, sir. Watch your step on my ramp. Anything else from the people? Mr. Mays,
Russ.
argument.
So you've heard.
Please don't tell me what I've heard. Please don't recap everything I heard.
I'll just argue and put everything together, because I know we presented a lot of pieces, and frankly, we heard Lavy pieces. And I think she's going to.
That's fine. Please don't rehash everything I heard. You want to make your arguments, you want to make your summaries, that's fine, but don't tell me everything I just listened to.
These interactions that were talked about in court today, as well as other instances, Mark is seen entering the gym and leaving in less than 10 minutes. And even if he had, looking at his car, he would be seen coming back, and there'd be, usage log information to say that, but it isn't. So, and showing up multiple times in a day and eating within minutes of Denise not being there, Mark would leave. So the usage logs and the camera footage doesn't lie. And I mentioned multiple dates in my direct to Josh Wrights about times where Denise would enter and Mark would be there within 20 minutes or less, and then she'd leave. He was gone. And there's more than a few instances where they interacted. Okay. All right, March 10th, Denise was seen at the gym at 5:13 p.m. and defendant Mark Lavy was seen at 4:35 p.m. March 12th, Denise entered the gym at 4:15 p.m. Defendant Mark Lavy at 4:33. March 27th, Denise at 12:59 p.m. Mark at 1:09 p.m. April 8th, Denise at 7:03 p.m. and Mark at 7:10 p.m. Denise for April 23rd. Denise at 5:36 p.m. 5:45 p.m. These are all in here for those. Denise was on vacation on April 12th through April 19th. Amy was also not seen there at those times. There's also May 10th, 2025. Mark was seen at the gym at 9:49 p.m. 12:03 p.m. 4:07 p.m. May 11th, 5. Mark was seen at 10:05 a.m. 4:54 p.m. March 15th, 12:27 p.m. and 4:32 p.m. I asked that you find the defendant Mark Lavy.
I emailed the prosecutor a few weeks ago saying that under Michigan Rule of Professional Conduct 3.8A, they could not proceed with this case. This case from the inception has been simply looking at where Mr. Lavy is at any time of the day that they have access to, saying, justify where you're located, justify your actions, justify why you're driving. I'll remind the court that the testimony was that Ms. Whitingham and her new husband moved down from Canton, knowing that Belleville's a small town, knowing exactly where he lived. And yet the testimony that you received from the witnesses, well, I didn't know if he still did. Of course she did. She's been boating past it. Year after year after year.
She's got good friends that live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, friends watching from across the street. So I'm just looking at the elements here. The elements to stalking, it starts off, first, the defendant committed 2 or more willful, separate, and non-continuous acts of unconsented contact with the complaining witness. Unconsented contact means that the defendant initiated or continued contact with or without the consent, and includes, this whole litany of things. Appearing within the site of, approaching the person in public, on public or private property, appearing at the workplace or home, entering or remaining on property owned, leased, or occupied by the complaining witness, making contact by telephone, sending email, or regular mail, placing an object on or delivering an object to the property owned, leased, or occupied by. Now, of course, initially, I wanted to look at this and say, well, what's the issue here? Because he's going to the gym where he has a membership. He is allowed to be there. He's allowed to be there. The shoe can just as easily be on the other foot when she decides, knowing that he's there, that she's going to come work out of that gym. She tells the court judge that she goes there 100 to 150 times in 2023, knowing the entire time that Mr. Lavy is a member there. He was a member there long before she came down to Belleville, and he continued to be a member long after she went out to Ipsy. She comes back from Ipsy and decides, you know what? It's time to start working out at the Belleville gym again. Why in the world would she do that if she saw Mr. Lavy 100 to 150 times in 2023? Well, now all of a sudden she's seeing him at the gym again, as she did all the time in the past in 2023. Now she's seeing him in 2025. She talks to this Macomb County prosecutor and says, I'm going to start to document this. I'm going to start to make police reports. Of what? He doesn't even so much as waive her. There's no threats. He is legally allowed to be there up until the 14th when they cancel his membership. And the membership cancellation, I mean, this manager going through the logs to try to make it sound sinister as to when he was or wasn't there, and going through videos is just simply bizarre. He is legally entitled to be there. This would be as if, if they both worked at Ford Motor Company, and she complained, well, he keeps showing up at his job. I can't believe that he shows up where I work. He was legally allowed to be there through 514, and he was legally there through 514. There is nothing else to this case, Judge, so I'm asking that the court find him not guilty.
Briefly on the rebuttal, Judge. When I go to my work and when I go to my job, I don't show up for 10 minutes long. I don't show up, look for someone, and leave. I don't do that over a course of a couple months, after a period of days. I don't do that after I've been told, hey, you got your pink slip, you're out. I don't show up to that workplace that night looking for that employee that ran. This is what the people are alleging is this willful course of conduct. This is this showing up where you have problems. I mean, counsel alleged that there is a deep history. And now this individual now has been showing up to these places at these times, showing up not at those places at those times, counsel, as co-counsel already alluded to, trying to do something. And it's not work out. I mean, we see him, and we heard testimony that in most of those, he's just showing up at the gym. Just watch. We saw him in the video kind of poke around, look around, trying to see what's up. He's not looking up what workout is coming. He's looking for someone who works there. Now, we heard that made Miss Weidenhammer feel harassed, intimidated, or threatened. She sees this guy constantly, and maybe if he was working out, I think maybe it would be a different story. Maybe if she saw him just carrying on with his day like so many of us do and working out and not just showing there, being there long after you expect him to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing and using that place for, I don't think she would have felt as threatened. However,
I never heard her testify that she never saw him work out. I don't think anybody asked her the question. I don't think anybody ever asked her the question. Any of those times you saw him, was he working out? I don't remember anybody asking the question. Go ahead, move on.
I just think that I'm going to assert in my conclusion that him only being there for 10 minutes, or in some instances, we saw him walk in and walk out, he's not. In those times, in those periods, especially on May 8th, May 13th, and May 14th, that behavior is not using those facilities or being in those places like you should be. And instead, he's doing that to just harass the victim in this case, Your Honor. So at this time, we're going to ask that this court find Mr. Lavy guilty.
De minimis non curat lex. You guys can look it up. You know it? You had a good education at the Citadel. They didn't teach you Latin?
I know the minimus, but beyond that, I couldn't hear what you said. The minor violation of the law?
The law should not trifle with minor things. If Mr. Weideman thinks this is escalation, he needs to get out more. Those two people need a hobby. If you start to look for things with a narrative, then you'll find what you're looking for. To be perfectly blunt, I don't think a reasonable person would find any of this to be threatening, harassing, or objectionable. I think these two people, once again, need a hobby, not guilty. Goodbye.
Could a single photo really be enough to identify a suspect? That question took center stage as Dana Wilson's case unfolded in court. The defense argued the officer relied on only one police photo and never conducted a proper photo lineup, despite heavily tinted windows and only a brief glimpse of the driver. After intense cross-examination and body camera evidence, the judge admitted the identification was weak. But because probable cause requires only a low legal threshold, the case was still bound over for trial.